Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to where it's due to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahusha, Bahashim Chakadas. Double honors to the elders, Apostle Great Millstone, who rule well, who taught his truth. Salutations to the sincere brother out there who preaching his truth, and edifying the brothers and sisters who have shared their diligence. And salutations to the elect scattered abroad. Today, the brother Ayawab come back to you today with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shabbat Shem Chakadas. Just going in. I have a title later, but just going in on the riots over here, man. That we're close, man. You know, just over that one dude, George Floyd. He died because of a cop put his knee in the dude's neck, killed him. And that's just all part of the Most High's will, man. Ultimately, that's judgment. I just wanted to get into some of the stuff that is popping off with it, and then bring out some scriptures. But just want to get this right here. Just look. That's what's happening in Minneapolis right now, man. Protests, riots, uproars of the people. It says heated protests continue across the U.S. as thousands demand justice for George Floyd. It says protests have erupted across the country over the death of George Floyd, a black man who suffocated when he was pinned to the ground by a Minneapolis police officer. Minnesota declared a state of emergency amid looting and rioting in Minneapolis, while more protests mount in New York, Denver, and other cities. This is what's happening. It says protesters took to the streets across the country following the death of George Floyd. A state of emergency has been declared in Minnesota following looting and buildings being set on fire in Minneapolis. Donald Trump responded by offering military support. Donald Trump responded by offering military support. Protests have also taken place in New York City, Denver, LA, and other U.S. cities. That's bright. It says state police arrive at deserted police precinct set ablaze by crowds protesting George Floyd's death. Let's see the video.
Coronavirus. Stay informed with the facts. Join Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
We truly are all in this together.
For CNN's new podcast, Coronavirus, Fact versus Fiction. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
I was about to say. Gonna play.
I mentioned the sort of central demand here that protesters, the family, and again the mayor want to see criminal charges filed against these officers. We have not seen that yet. We are starting to see, as we're talking, a few flashing lights coming in over on the opposite side of this intersection. It's unclear from here whether those are fire department vehicles or police vehicles, but I can tell you that's over the course of the hour and a half and everybody's running as police seem to be pulling in with sirens. You see them pulling up to this intersection here. Again, this is the first form of law enforcement we have seen in this neighborhood, in this particular stretch, over the course of this entire morning, at least the last 2 hours that we have been here. And it's possible that when the fire department came through with their vehicles beforehand, they might have called for the police as backup. Now you see these police officers, they're moving into the crowd right now, spraying mace into the crowd, riot controlled. They're immediately engaging with these protesters here. This is a scene that's rapidly evolving, and we already knew there was a lot of animosity from these protesters against these police officers. We see this man right here, mace directly in the face. And again, this is the first form of law enforcement we have seen all morning Up until this point, it has been complete anarchy as a car just completely speeds out of the way. People are jumping out of the way, and we almost just witnessed an accident at the intersection over on the left. It is a very chaotic scene here this morning in the early hours in this part of Minneapolis. This is not what people could have imagined happening in this city, despite the pain and emotions that we have seen in regards to George Floyd. I'm lost for words, really, at this point. It is like something out of a movie.
Man, if this ain't the end, man, if we not close to the end, I ain't even gonna read this article. I'm assuming it's on CNN. But just protest, uproar of the people. So I'm gonna get at that. You see it. They still got their mask on, though. They still got their mask on, though. As that Apostle Har said when he was going in on the them looting at the Target, he said they still got their mask on though. Oh, that was funny. But come on, you see the uproar of the people, man. Let's see what Donald Trump had to say about it. So he said, I can't stand back and watch this happen to a great American city, Minneapolis. A total lack of leadership. Either the very weak, radical left mayor, Jacob Frey, get his act together and bring the city under control, or I will send in the National Guard and get the job done right. So you see, man. And look, and then this one, it says, this tweet violated Twitter rules about glorifying violence. However, Twitter has determined that it may be in the public interest for the tweet to remain accessible. And this is what it says. It said, these thugs are dishonoring the memory of George Floyd, and I won't let that happen. Just spoke to Governor Tim Walz and told him that the military is with him all the way in any difficulty, and we will assume control. But when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Thank you. And this was 5:29. It's like 5:29. 20 at 12:53 a.m. So you see, man, they're not playing. This is gonna lead to race wars, Jacob's trouble, and further on. So you see, man. And also, I wanted to get a video on here on social media, Instagram.
Look how many fucking people are defending this killer's house. Look how fucking many are defending this killer's house. Look how fucking many are defending this killer's house. Look how fucking many are defending this killer's house. Look how fucking many. Look how fucking many. Look how fucking many. Look how fucking many are defending this killer's house. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Look how fucking many. They're defending a murderer's house. They are defending a murderer's house.
Hey, and that is a lot of cops You know, they defending the dude who killed that dude's house. And then also this one. You know, I just want to show like this little picture. They just uproar of the people, man.
Look how many.
So you see, man. And, you know, this is basically what it was without the, you know, it was a white dude, and then he had his knee in the dude's neck. And then right here it says National Guard called in as Minneapolis burns from riots over George Floyd's death murder. It's like it says this was 28th, 2020, 6:39. And then CNN crew arrested while covering Minneapolis protests. And I believe there's a news article. Yeah. And there's also protests going on in Louisville as well. So you see, man, a girl got shot, 7 shots during, 7 shot in Louisville demonstration against Breonna Taylor's. That girl died. You know, protests in Louisville as well. But it says, I
I'm
believe.
going to let you see the pictures for yourself. This is the 3rd precinct here. There are fires burning to the left of it at the wine and liquor store on your left. But back in the back of the precinct, you're hearing people throwing things against the walls, against the glass, against anything they can. And now the fire alarm, you'll see it flashing inside of the 3rd precinct. Behind the 3rd precinct, just behind it, is a fire that is billowing and has been going for a few minutes now, really strongly. But you hear people cheering every time they get through one of the windows there with whatever it is they're throwing. It sounds like they're throwing, you can see pieces of concrete. There's someone climbing up the wall right now of the back of the 3rd precinct, kicking the window in, trying to climb up the wall. People are trying to get in the building. We're listening to people say that they're trying to get into the building. There is now a person who, excuse me, sir, there is now a person who is going and trying to get physically into the 3rd precinct there at the bottom of the precinct. Now, at the very top of the precinct on the other side, there were police officers who were inside of that. But I'm going to have you move the camera to the left and just show the fire. The fires are getting closer and closer and closer to the 3rd precinct. That is the wine and spirit store, the Minnehaha Wine and Spirit store here.
Still got their mask on,
Fire
though.
on the other side. But you're also seeing now smoke billowing from inside of the 3rd precinct. You see that white smoke billowing outside of that, and you also see that fire alarm going off. Now, we know that there were officers in there not too long ago, so we're not sure of the status of how many officers are still inside or if they have evacuated yet, but we do know that just earlier there were officers standing on top of that roof, about 5 or 6 of them, who were throwing down all manner of things to try to separate the protesters. But now you are actually seeing smoke that is coming out of the 3rd precinct. I'm going to have you back up a bit there, Spike, so we can give people a bigger, wider.
Sarah, where
So
are
again,
the police?
You see the fire? We don't know. We are not seeing police out here right now. We have been seeing them standing on the top of the 3rd precinct. That's where they have been throwing things down, trying to keep people from breaching. But now there are no police. There is no police presence. And Josh talked about that earlier. The police presence has gone to 0 at this point here outside of the 3rd precinct. How unusual is this? Because now fire has started. Let's cite the fire has started at the 3rd precinct. We're watching it be set right now. We're watching it go up in flames right now. I just wanted you to hear the sound of people cheering as the 3rd precinct appears to be on fire at this time. Excuse me. The 3rd precinct seems to be on fire at this time, with people who are now starting to go closer and closer to that precinct. We do not know at this time where the police are.
I just want to, from my vantage point, you can see the pictures up on your screen now of the 3rd precinct, which is on fire. Director, did you tell me it's on, Ellie, the one on the left. It's on the right? Okay, it is the fire that you see on the right. And again, that is the 3rd precinct. And what you hear are people who are cheering in this crowd as this police precinct goes up in flames. The picture on the right now, the ground picture that you're seeing, that's in the ground. The one on the left is a picture of the aerial shot. And so as Sarah Seidner had been reporting all evening here on CNN, they had tried to breach the perimeter earlier of the 3rd precinct, a fence that they had erected recently to try to keep protesters and rioters out. That appears to have all been for naught, because now this police precinct appears to be on fire.
So you see it, man. I'm not really going to go into this because lesson's already pushing. I don't want to make it too long. Just want to get straight to the point. About the uproars of the people. No. There's plenty of other videos, I believe, as well. Let's watch this little. It says, protesters took to the streets in downtown Louisville demanding for Breonna Taylor. Okay. It's like, nobody said, "Hey Siri." It says protesters took to the streets in downtown Louisville demanding justice for Breonna Taylor, who was killed by police in her home on March 13th. They tipping over a ambulance, trying to. Or they just shaking it, one or two. What Jake think gonna happen, man? It says 7 people were shot in Louisville, Kentucky, one of whom was in critical condition during protests that turned violent Thursday night, police said. I ain't gonna get into this one either, but you see it, man. Protests, uproars of the people. That's what I'm gonna name the lesson: uproars of the people. Maybe upwards in America, because that's where it's happening, man. And I remember it was protests were happening all over the world and other countries. And I'm thinking, well, it'll be over to America soon. And here it is, man. It's here. Upwards of the people. But that's what I want to get. I'll get scriptures. So this is 2nd Ezra 15 and verse 16. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and their course of their actions shall stand in their power." And that word sedition, meaning to conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch. You know, they rebelling against the authority, man. They don't care about the police. They still gonna riot. They still gonna protest. They invading one another. They invading the targets, looting. They don't care about what Trump gotta say, what the police gotta say, what the government gotta say. And also 2 Ezra 9 from the top. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the earth which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So we seeing earthquakes, we seeing uproars of the people now, man. And the Most High is beginning to visit the earth which he made, which he's about to say. Verse 5. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and the end is manifest. Even so the time also of the highest hath plain beginning and wonder, and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. So Khan, you see it, uproars of the people, man. The Most High spake of these things, man. Even from the beginning. But that's all I want to get. Like I said, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught us truth. Shalom to the sincere brother out there who preaches truth and edifying the brothers and sisters who are Saturday diligence. And shalom to the elect scattered abroad. And like I say, birthday Yahweh Shem Yashai for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. Until next time, like I say, shalom and Kwame Yashala. Abad Babal.